Okay, cool. All right. There we go. So I just had to refresh my page. So you investigate through, you pull everything up, and as I said before, it's a lot of fine shirts and stuff in there. At the bottom, you find the trousers. In one of the trouser pockets, you find a small gem. As you pull it out, it's amethyst. So it's a small, I don't know, probably a half inch around or something like that. It looks like maybe a token from a days gone by, or maybe a little his hidden spending cash or something like that. So yeah, but it was just stuck in one of his pockets as you're sort of pushing around. It just sort of fell out. But yeah, it's an amethyst. Pocket it, keep it, leave it in there if you want. Your choice. Okay. All right. Cool. All right. Okay. You're not going to let Oswald know that there's money in here to be had? Okay. All right. Say again. Oh, once everything is completed and all his paperwork is done and everything's filed with the state and the state pays him his, then he's going to pay you guys 5 gold pieces. No, no, 5 gold pieces. Okay. Oh, yes. Sleight of hand. So as you look, you see Hyacinth sort of going through the clothing, and she finds something. She has some sort of a rock in her hand or something. You just see her sort of slip it into her pocket, um, and then she closes the lid of the chest. Just as Corvus, yeah, yeah, just don't tell Halvard. Nobody tell the good guy. Yep. Yeah. Huh. No. Okay. Okay. Man, there's the stream goes again. Okay. Yeah. If it's any consolation, I got. If it's any consolation, Adam has been rolling like crap in my other game. I just laughed. So you do your quick investigation. I got you. You do your quick investigation. Inside, you see now these are the clothes that you would expect somebody living in a little farm town to wear. They're a little more rugged and rough. Looks like they have a little bit of wear and tear on them. Probably wore those on a day-to-day basis or whatever. But it's just like the rest. There's trousers and shirts hanging up and stuff. So these are obviously the clothes that he wore day to day, and the ones in the chest are ones that he maybe stored for maybe a special occasion or posterity's sake or whatever the case may be. Yeah. No, not that you saw. It's yeah, it has a little sitting chair with a table next to it over there in the other corner. Amek is you can hear him softly snoring coming through the wall of the other side as he's leaned up against the wall and fell asleep, knocked himself out trying to investigate the corner. But yeah, so it's standard stuff. Doesn't look like anything. I mean, you can do a quick check of the whole room if you want. If you want to spend another 10-minute investigation or something like that, we can do that. But it's up to you. I'll let you search this place as long and as extensively as you desire. Probably now you guys have been in the house for half an hour. Every so often you hear Oswald saying, "Are you done yet? We've got things we gotta do. Are you done yet?" Okay. Okay. Yeah. Right. Amek, I'm sorry, I didn't want to keep you over in the corner, dude. Is there anything else that you want to do? Because obviously you found nothing in there other than the table and stuff that he ate on and whatnot. So, was there anything else that you wanted to do, or do you want to join these guys, or are you just going to kind of hang out and wait for them to get done? Right. Yeah. No, you're fine. Give, give me a history check. Whoever wants to check, I want history with disadvantage. No, no, no. So, you do the closest you would know to anything. Corvus, being the um, most knowledgeable. Yeah, look, Corvus being the most knowledgeable of you guys that may. Um, you do know that there are various hidden secret societies within societies, right? So that being said, everybody knows that Sir Johann Thames was a commander in the army that led um, one of the battles at Ironstead, right? So that's where he sort of made his name. He was a well-known commander anyway, but the Battle of Ironstead, when the forces of Ayus were pressing into the forest, trying to stamp out the elves and the mercenary soldiers that came from Perrenland, sort of beat them back, right? And he made a name for himself there. So that being said, it's not un unthinkable to believe that there could be sort of cliques within the overall whole. So it's quite possible that he was a this well-to-do, well-known commander, while at the same time he could have belonged to some inner sect or inner society of probably leaders of some kind that said, "Hey, we have this special purpose in life, therefore we're going to create this little secret society, like a college secret society. You know, you go through the initiation and, hey, you're my boy, Blue. And make them jump off a bridge or whatever the case may be, right? So, sort of one of those things. So, um, just kind of thinking about it, it's quite possible. But the ladies of the sword, you've never heard. So, yeah, that's something that you've never heard of before. Actually, uh, let me see. I don't know if I had it in here. Any notes? No. Okay. No. I was seeing if I had any notes that maybe he knew something else beside that, but no. That's pretty much all you don't know specifically what the ladies of the sword are or lady of the swords or whatever they're called are. But it's the only thing you could do is sort of infer that it's probably some underground society or hidden society that's dedicated to some special purpose. This is true. Right. Okay. Hmm. 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 That is correct. He's actually, yeah, he's been dead probably a week, week and a half now. He is actually, I should have mentioned this when you guys came in. He's actually buried out back um, over in this area over here. Oh, why? Boy, it's not really. Yeah, so these are bushes and trees and stuff like that, but out back, like I said, it's well tended ground, and he's buried out back there. Should have mentioned that before. I apologize. Yes, if you down here, you don't see a shed in your. Okay, I was gonna say one thing I have to say. Hyacinth is a very focused individual. She's down with what she's doing right then and there. Has no idea. Very focused in on. Okay, so you guys are gonna go outside and check out the. So as you guys pass by Oswald, he just kind of looks up, um, half bored, half asleep. It looks like. So are we done? Can we go now? Are we done? Have you completed your business here? Have you found anything that would be worth a while for what I hired you for? You've you've been in this house for close to an hour, and you're telling me all you found is that he was working on the festival? Fancy clothes, you say? Do they look expensive? Do they look expensive? You think we could probably get a good bargain for them if we were to sell them? Fine, fine, fine. Just please, please finish your business and tell me when you're done. As you guys, as you guys are leaving the house, Oswald goes into the bedroom to see what all the fuss about these clothes were. Beg your pardon, sir? I'm sorry, Amek, did you say something? I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said. Check, check. Hello? I thought Amek had said something, so I was just waiting for. I didn't hear what he said. If is. Oh no, you're fine. Nope, you're fine. We're good. If you guys want to give me once again another investigation check of the shed, we can find out what's in there. Okay, advantage then, please. Ooh, look at that. So the shed itself, the shed itself is exact. The shed itself is exactly that. It is a shed. You can see that there's some tools, rakes, shovels, stuff like that. However, you do find a large, long lock box that has a padlock on it. Right there. This is correct. It has a rather nice lock on it. It looks like it's relatively new too. You can try to maybe bust off the lock with a strength type check, or if you want to, um, give me an intelligence check, somebody. Just because I know I want to make sure that I'm going to at least give you guys various ideas on potential solutions. So, Nilo, you look at this and, or Hyacinth as well, you both kind of look at it and almost come to the conclusion at the exact same time as you look at each other, and the same word comes out of both of your mouths: locksmith. Well, I'm just saying, if you want to, that's just an idea. You know, if you can't break it open yourself or you can't pick the lock yourself, the option is that there is a locksmith in town. I believe her name is Xylith. Well, you have to remember he is by himself. He is by himself, so the potential for him for taking all of this stuff is probably pretty slim. It's no, it's a large lockbox. It's like a trunk, like a steam chest, if you will. No, 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 sir. No. Yeah, yeah, yeah. You sure can. Yep. Go ahead and go ahead and just give me a strength check, please. Good. So yeah, now that you need to do a strength, you need to. I don't want to know what your strength is. You should be able to click on it, and it should just roll like a D. Just go ahead and give me a D20, and then add your strength bonus to it. Yeah, there you go. Oh, well, I don't need a saving throw, but still, it's still was it 17? What's your strength bonus? Plus two? Okay, so that's the same thing then. So that's fine. So you guys watch as Amek's like out of my way, and he sort of strides over to it, and he brings his hammer up and he slams it down, and it's like pinpoint accuracy as you catch it right on top of where the two little prongs go down in and click into the body of the lock itself, and that thing just shatters. It's like I don't care how well made that lock is, ain't nothing getting away from the dwarven hammer. Slam! And the thing goes flying off, goes hits the ground. The two little prong pieces that were sitting on top of the latch on top just fly off, nearly taking Nalo's eye out. But fortunately, her reflexes, she ducks out of the way as the thing goes ding, 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 pinging off some of the metal objects in the room, leaving the chest itself open for investigation. What's that, sir? Well, you don't have to roll to open it. You can open it. It's Well, if you want to dig into the contents and find what's inside, then I'm going to need investigation, but I don't. Okay. Okay. So there's a box. There's a box in front of you. It's made of wood. It's flipping it open without looking in the interior, because you really don't find much, right? Other than you can see that there is a suit of well-made chainmail in there, along with a pair of long swords and a looks like to be some kind of a crest or something. And both you and Amic, or you and Halvard realize that it is from the Pax Mercury um, section of soldiers or whatever. So he looks like he had something to do with the Pax Mercury at one time, something he was probably very fond of, probably something a little nostalgic, that he kept it with what looks to be, and you can only guess is the suit of armor that he wore during the wars. Because even though it's well made and well fashioned, um, yeah. So hang on just a second. Let me give you this. Um, so Amic, as you take a look at it, you realize it's more than just the Pax Mercury, right? So you realize that this is from the second Auswegen, um, right, which is just a division of the Perrenland army. And from what you can tell, um, there's actually elven inscriptions on it that say something about the Knights of the Heart. And so apparently, whoever Sir Johann Thames was, not only was he a ranking official commander in the Perrenland division of the army that was in that region during the war, he had something to do with Knights of the Heart as well. And Knights of the Heart are, depending upon where they're at, they're either a full elf division or they're elves and half elves, depending upon where they're at and what they're doing, right? And from the inscription, since it is in Elvish, you can only assume that not only was he doing stuff with um, the Auschwitz, oh, actually, I can never say it right. It's um, Aus Auszügen. Auszügen. I'm not German, so I can't pronounce it well. But anyway, so not only was he in the second Auschwitz, but he was doing something with Knights of the Heart, which is almost unheard of as far as you're concerned, because the elves are like very strict. They're like, no, we don't have nothing to do with humans, and humans got nothing to do with us. We'll fight side by side, but no. So this is something above and beyond that that really catches your eye. Hmm. Right. Hmm. No, if you want to make it, it would make more sense to be Elvish because of where you guys were. So what? Yeah, and okay. So again, so if you just want to look in it, yeah. See, so interpreting it, it's actually very interesting. This is basically a badge giving to somebody who is sort of a go-between the humans and the elves, right? So sort of gives him a badge that allows him access to the elven commanders, etc., without having a thousand arrows pierce him as they try to walk toward the elven commanders, right? So this is sort of exactly right. A liaison, an emissary, a diplomat, something along those lines. So to have that rank and station with the Knights of the Heart is probably the biggest thing that catches your breath, right? Because you're like, whoa, Knights of the Heart are legendary where we're from, right? They're just on the other side of the mountains, but it's like they're legendary when it comes to the lore of the world, right? And so the fact that you have somebody here, albeit deceased, that at one time was working hand in hand with those guys is pretty damn cool. Heart, Hart, Knights of the Heart. Like, and there's the yeah. So if you actually look at them, yes, kind of like they're more like an insurance company, right? So Um, so yeah, so the Knights of the Heart, their shields and stuff like that tend to have those sort of antler type look to them and stuff like that, right? So I can get them, I can dig them out sometime for you, but yeah. Okay. So let me double check. Haven't seen the identify spell in a long time, so let me check really quick. I know it can identify like special certain things, but I didn't know if it actually does it give you magic? Sorry for my ignorance on the 5e version of this spell, but I'm gonna probably should have just clicked on your character sheet and clicked it. Boy, my internet is running like dog shit. Okay. Yeah, okay, you are correct. You learn as properties how to, yeah. So, actually, I knew that. I don't know why. I don't know why I was thinking I was thinking locate object type spell. I'm like, okay, no, but identify, duh. Okay, it's, stupid DM brain cramp. So yes, so as you sort of cast over and your hands begin to give a faint glow as it sort of spreads over the top of the item, and you're sort of touching it and kind of digging into it to get a good feel. Yeah, no indication of magic whatsoever. Although it is a well-made suit of armor, just a little dinged and dented up, and looks like it's well worn. The leather and stuff like that kind of bind all the chain and stuff together is very well worn, but it's well kept as well. Sort of, um, you would venture to say just by checking it out that he didn't just put it in here and leave it here. He took it out occasionally to clean it and upkeep it, even if he was wearing it or not. And once again, my stream's freezing. It's killing me. Now my stream is froze. It's the chat's still running, but my stream froze. But I don't care. No, if people want to look at me with my mouth half open, that's fine. So, all right. So that's what you find in here. Again, there's a pair of long swords and a suit of well-made chain. Um, very well kept items all. Nothing appears magical based on your investigation, Amic. Well, it's a little helpful in the sense that you know a little more about the guy you're dealing with or looking about. Could be, yeah, quite possibly. Okay. You know something, you don't have to really necessarily move them unless you want to. I only do that just so that a lot of times, if players are splitting up and hey, I want to go here, I want to go there, and it's easier to explain where you're going just by moving your character there. I'm assuming that you guys are going to be moving off of this map in a general sense. So as far as I'm concerned, you can just kind of tell me how far out you want to go. Are we going to go north, south, east, west? And this, okay. Well, the letter was in his house. You don't necessarily know if he sent other letters or that was the only one he was sending out, but that one didn't go out. But he did say in the letter, if you look at it, the letter does say that deliver it 2 days from now. So if somebody knows to bring the letter, then they know it needs to be delivered in a couple days. So unless somebody, yeah, unless somebody did what they weren't supposed to. So Yes. He's a. This is true. Exactly. Hmm. Okay. Okay. All right. So, I guess really the only question I would have is how long do you guys want to search before you give up? Because based on your roles will determine how long it takes you to find anything, if you do find anything. Hmm. Yeah. So Sog, the owner, the half-orc female who owns the gorgeous dwarf, one of her horses was killed. There was a rancher outside of town. You never got the name, but apparently they had their cattle, if not all of it, then at least a significant portion of their cattle were slaughtered. There was also another, in addition to George Gilly and Sir Tame, there was another individual who wound up dead. However, he got in a bar fight with a dwarf, and then wound up dead later on. So you don't know the story behind that, but that's just all of these people are dying. Combine that with the animal slaughters and stuff like that, there's definitely something amiss. Whether or not they're all tied together, you're not for sure yet. Yes, sir. There is a blacksmith in town, and actually, the blacksmith himself went off to war and never came back. So his wife actually runs the place, and it's called the Obsidian Mace. Um, and you guys actually saw um, when you guys, now you weren't here, but when you guys were standing outside town, I sort of gave some descriptions of people who were actually in town. And one of I'm trying to find her name here. Sorry, I was. Millicent Schmidt is a very large, robust woman. She's large in the sense that she's relatively tall for a human lady. Thick black curly hair, red rosy cheeks, really broad shoulders, busty, but she's just thick all the way down to her legs, her like really stout legs. So she looks like a tree trunk when she's hammering stuff. And she was actually fairly upset, it seemed, when you guys were first investigating George Gilly's death, because she had come the um, from the forge, or from the blacksmithy shop, if you will, and she still had her hammer in her hand, and she was like gripping it like she was ready to beat somebody to death right then and there. Um, because obviously everybody in town's fairly upset. So yes, the long answer to your short question was there is a forge in town. It's a blacksmith called, and they call their shop the Obsidian Mace. Hmm. Hmm. So so that's definitely possible if you have enough silver to coat weapons. Yeah, it's absolutely quite possible. You guys know that most of the money that runs through town goes through the Christchurch minerals, which is the Christchurch branch of the Traft Mining Consortium. So it's basically the mining guys, right? So they actually have sort of that's where the miners come, and that's where they any small offshoot mines or whatever that they bring gold or whatever in and they weigh it out and they pay them and stuff like that. So that's where all the money lending and all the money exchange and stuff goes through in this town. They don't have, hey Hal, they don't have um, they don't have their own sort of a money lender yet. So the mining exchange sort of acts as the bank slash money lender slash mining operations. Nope, 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 nope. I'm not. I am not going to just because it's you doing it. It's still time, labor, cost. Even though you're not having somebody do it, you're actually paying her to use her forge, right? So she's not just gonna let you do it for free and not make any money off of that. So it's gonna be the same cost. Well, well, I mean, you could sell some silk shirts if you can get them away from Oswald. You have an amethyst. I don't know how much it's worth, but sorry, what'd you say, Hyacinth? Oh, sure. I mean, yeah. I mean, you guys, he's your boss. You guys, this is your world. I told you guys that before. Whatever you want to do, right? So you just tell me, and we'll make it happen. Yep. So go ahead. Who wants to give Halvard the 10-cent tour? I suppose. There you go. Knights of the Heart. The Knights of the Heart. Yeah. Yep. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. it was a folklore thing. It's sort of a standard
Okay.
kind of knowledge type thing that silver can work against
Okay.
certain.
So we might should have made it to make a roll see if we
Uh,
even know that, but
yeah, you probably could have, but I'm fine. I'm fine with the common knowledge. It's like everybody in the modern world knows, so it's no sense in not knowing that.
what was the name of this person? I'm sorry, I wasn't.
No, you're fine. So the name of the individual was Sir Johann Thames, Thames. He is or was a well-known, well-respected, renowned commander of the forces during the war who made a name for himself at the Battle of Ironstead, um, working alongside the Knights of the Heart to beat back the forces of IUs during the war as they tried to push their way through the forest into the elving communities, and eventually they would have reached the mountains and then over the mountains into Perrenland. So um, that's basically who he was, and he was sort of living out his last days in town, but he ended up dying unexpectedly, um, and so Oswald was sent here to investigate and tie things up and make his official report back to the guild, and he hired you guys to kind of help him. So that's sort of the gist of the backstory.
So, does he have next of kin
Not that
confirmed?
not that you're aware of. No, that you had nobody's asked or anything. At least not to your knowledge. You don't know if anybody's asked.
How hard would it be to contact somebody in Pax Mercury?
So you could probably send a message down to Traft, where there would probably be the closest city that would have any kind of a contingent large enough to um, sort of reach out to. There's maybe some small patrols along the way, but as far as anybody of import or knowledge or anything like that, you'd want to go to Traft. So that would be your best bet. If you don't go there, then get a message to somebody there.
That would be Halvard would suggest that if we can't find next of kin, we should find a officer of some type. I can't remember the names of them. It's in my notes, by
Mm-hmm.
the way, but
No
and
worries.
ask them if we have rights to the armor,
Right.
or do we need to find his next of kin?
Got it. So roll a history check for me, Halvard, with a if you're at a place where you can roll dice, or are you just listening, you're able to roll too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So give me a history check with advantage. Good. So basically, you know that standard procedure for soldiers was it would go to um, the next of kin, but if no next of kin, then it was given to the battalion or unit that the soldier um, was assigned to, and then they would determine amongst themselves how to distribute the weapons and armor or stuff like that.
We need to contact the battalion commander and ask them what to do.
Right. So he was he
If
would
they will, if they will clear us to use it in a way to protect innocents, then I'm fully signed off on it.
right.
So we're not just going to take it.
Right. And so he was actually not so much Pax Mercury, although he did work with come up through the ranks, but he was actually the commander of the second Ausugan. So he was more of the Knight Brigade, if you will. So, but anyway, you are similar in the sense that all the units work kind of the same, right? So they all uh, worked under the same sort of rules of engagement as far as distributing armor and weapons and stuff like that. So,
Okay. And that's Halvard's opinion. You guys are going to try to sneak a piece out of there and do what you want with it. I'm just telling
right,
you my character.
right. So just from a historical aspect, sorry, just from a historical aspect, the second Auswegen was actually known as the Steady Second. They'd never been routed. Their history tells proudly of them defending to the last man, right? That's the kind of group they were. So, um, yeah, they were known for being on the victor side way, 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 way more often than not. So yeah, that was a pretty prestigious group that he was a part of. Cool. Right. Right. So like I said, Oswald. Yeah. Well, you have to remember too. Sorry, go ahead.
I'm not sure if you've read the extended bio for Diolo, but she is Pax Makari, and she has all of her unit and rank designations on her armor still and everything. So she is from the same unit and stuff.
Not
It's called Pax.
not not the not yeah, not the same unit as Sir Thames. Sir Thames was the second Auswegen.
No, sorry, off from saying it. He can easily see that where she came from.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. So she has markings and tattoos and stuff like that showing that she was in the army and served as well as Halvard did. Maybe a different unit or a different location, but
I mean, we're playing D&D here. I'm not opposed to somebody rolling a persuasion check against my insight to see if
right,
they can convince me.
right. But it's yeah. And as yeah, and as I
I'm already encumbered, so
yeah. Well, as I stated before, all your gear is back at the inn in your various rooms. Oswald, while well, you're about yeah, you're like the only one that's not encumbered. Um, so
Behind just
right. Yeah, and I did mention that Oswald, while you know that he's shady, he's probably not strong enough to carry a lot of this stuff out of here by himself. So um, even if he tried to, right, yeah. So not only that is how is he going to sell it, right? You know, you guys would know where there's only one place in town, maybe two that would even consider it. Yeah, is he going to come out and check himself?
her argument was the best argument in my mind.
Yeah,
Either we take it or some jerk takes it.
right.
and I think of off the town.
I mean, like I said, I'm willing to roll against a persuasion check.
I put that up there off the town.
All right, so just now that'd be an insight check on my part, right?
Yes. So
As
who?
opposed,
So are you going against Nilo?
yeah, evidently
Okay, that's fine.
she doesn't want to roll.
Yeah, that's fine. No, she doesn't.
Yeah,
Cool. Yeah. So I mean, again, I'm not. I know you're not opposed to rolling, but I would never want you guys to think that what your character decides to do has to come down to a roll against each other. You decide what your character. You decide what your character. So if you're adamant about now, that said, there could be something said for taking it so you can get it to the family just to make sure that nobody else takes it, right? So you're still taking it, but you're not taking it, right? So
Right, but
right,
exactly.
Not stealing it. We're just
Right.
taking it.
yeah,
Actually putting safekeeping it.
that's totally acceptable, I think.
it's protocol according to
Yep.
What type of armor is it?
It's a chainmail armor and a pair of long swords.
Okay.
And were you here when I gave the description of the item that he wore, sort of like a badge that he wore with it?
Uh-uh.
So he wore a badge that basically identified him as a leader or a commander of some kind in the second Auswegen, but it was also emblazoned with Elvish script around the edges and stuff like that that identified him as either an emissary or a diplomat or a liaison or something to do with the Knights of the Heart. And the Knights of the Heart are a renowned elven battalion, strictly elves on one half of them, and the which is based in the forest. Those that are based more toward High Folk, which is an elvish type city, are sort of elf and half elf mixed, but no humans, no other races. It's their, I mean, they're like very pure in who is in their ranks. So the fact that he had this designation as being somebody who walked among the elven leaders at the same time he walked among the human leaders is, you'd never heard of it until you wouldn't believe it if you didn't see the script for yourself, emblazoned on a badge of rank insignia, for somebody that high rank. So he obviously was a somebody amongst somebodies when it came to battle commanders and stuff. So,
Yeah.
yep, yeah.
I
So
think
it's
Hyacinth's argument's fair. I'll be willing to carry it, but I'm
mhm.
not going to let it out on site
Okay.
if that happens.
Yep, that's fine. That's fine. So you grab this 6'2" guy's chainmail armor on your 2'3", but no, you're the tall guy. I forgot. I'm thinking hammock. Yep. So, all right. So,
What?
beg your pardon. Yep.
So we both were.
Yeah, both of them. Uh, and how about
Yeah, my character's
both
6'2" as well.
Yeah.
sword, or will he need to split one of those off with her?
As long as it doesn't end up weighing 10 times, I'm already encumbered from wearing my chain shirt, so
Oh, same here. I'm already heavily encumbered. I'm at 107 pounds right now, which is encumbered too. So
Yeah. Well, and like I said, we're
I have a 16 strength too, so I got a
What
shot
about
at
the
carrying it.
what about the wheelbarrow there beside the
okay. Yeah. You
Fair
could
enough.
you could use that if you wanted to.
wheelbarrow.
Sure, am glad that that was on the map. I
Yeah,
I could have found a map that didn't have a wheelbarrow, and you guys would have been sucking.
yeah. Is that wheelbarrow actually there?
Yeah, yeah. That's only for decoration, you dummies. No. Hey, man. Yeah, no. You know what? Good eyes. I'd give you inspiration, but I already gave everybody inspiration.
Keep it in their yard.
Yeah, a little gnome next to it. Yeah, yeah.
did you say you wanted inspiration for that?
Oh, I gave inspiration to everybody last week. Everybody got inspiration, so I can't give you
Oh,
inspiration.
okay.
Yeah, everybody's character sheet should reflect it. If it doesn't, go ahead and reflect inspirations. Again, I apologize if I'm off my game here. You guys weren't here last week, some of you, so I didn't. I just forgot. So,
It's all right.
all right, cool. So you guys grab the little wheelbarrow, and as you're sort of bringing the armor out, wait! What do you have there? What is this? Wait, this must be written down and documented. Oswald comes over with his little notebook and he starts scribbling. One suit armor. Ooh, what is this symbol? As he takes the symbol and he's sort of looking at it, and he goes, How much do you think we should charge for this when we sell this? As he notes it,
Selling it.
all of this, you understand, we're documenting all of this so that we can determine the appropriate amount of taxation that must accompany the distribution of the estate. Surely you understand this is why I'm here.
But we understand, but military protocol. This man was military. Knights of the quarter, Knights of the Heart. By protocol, this man was meant to support his Italian commander.
Roll a persuasion check.
Tax collector.
Roll a persuasion with advantage.
I'll help.
Okay, with advantage. As he's like, as he sort of looks at Nilo, and you can see the disdain crossing his face, and you're not sure if it's just general disdain or half orc disdain, but disdain it is, and he's like, "We shall see about that. Bring it along." As he turns and begins to walk down the track back toward the 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 Richter's home or the Richter's building.
She's after that, but yes, I just walk follow them out.
Does that mean I'm doing a good? Does that mean I'm doing a good job of portraying somebody who's a politician? Everybody hates politicians. That was my goal.
Guys reminded me of the guy from The Hobbit.
Oh yeah,
The guy in the village. I can't think of his name.
yeah. I
Oh,
think
yes, yes.
so. As you guys leave, and you find yourself back into the town once again. Yes, it is still snowing. It's been snowing for the past day that you've been here, albeit lightly, leaving a slight track of snow or a light dusting of snow upon the ground. The temperature, again, I just want to remind everybody that the temperature is rather chilly. It's in the 20s, maybe low to mid 20s at best, at the hottest part of the day. And you guys are finding yourself back in town. Like I said, back to the Richter's place. Um, so bringing your gear back in there, are you going to store it there, or are you guys going to bring it back to the Gorgeous Dwarf? Because so for those that weren't here before, the Richter is basically the same as law enforcement, right? So judge, sheriff, whatever you want to call him in the medieval type towns. He's the one where that handled the law enforcement. And apparently, and again, I'm off my game again, but one of the things you guys found out about Sir Thames is that he was the law enforcement guy. He was sort of retired here as a soldier, and he was like the acting sort of peacekeeper, if you will, right? So now they're going to have to be voting on another peacekeeper here in the upcoming elections that should be coming in the next month or two. But anyway, um, the opportunity to leave the gear here if you want, or if you want to just say your goodbyes to Oswald for now and head back to the Gorgeous Dwarf. It's probably about 4 in the afternoon right now, maybe 5 at the latest. So it is getting a little late in the day as the sun is making its way over the western Yathill Mountains in the far west.
It's time for the second lunch.
I won't leave him alone with the armor.
Okay, well, he is not going to stop you from taking the armor. He's only insisting that it be accounted for so that for taxation purposes, all gear and um, all what's the word I'm looking for? Everything you own is accounted for appropriately, so the proper amount of yes. Well, the estate can be properly have its taxes properly assessed, is what he's looking for. So he doesn't matter. He's got it written down now, so it's it's going to have to be taxed, and he's going to have to collect taxes off the estate. And the estate taxes are usually paid by the sale of most things from the estate. So if you're not going to allow him to sell the armor, then the taxes will have to be made up by selling stuff, and you'll cross the bridge when it comes to it if the the sale does not bring in as much money as expected or as needed to cover the cost of what he feels should be the appropriate tax. So that being said, you guys are now sort of hanging out. But what do we want to do? Like I said, it's not quite nighttime, but it is getting late in the day, dinner time. If we wanted to end our day, just kind of ponder and then pick it up fresh in the morning, what do we want to do?
I know where I can send a message from.
So most, uh, I guess, you don't know if there's any. There's no mages in town that you're aware of that could be able to sell spells. But there are two people that do arcane stuff. One of them is Henriette. Henriette is, from what you have determined, a former practitioner of the arcane arts. What that means, you don't know, but apparently she hasn't done anything magic wise in quite a while. But she does run a bookstore. Um, she's sort of like the local librarian. Her home is sort of a half library, half living estate. Upstairs um, is the living estate, and downstairs is mostly a library. And then there's Hoxeris. Hoxeris is an elf that you've met um, one time, and apparently he does apothecary type stuff. So he does things like potions and stuff like that. Um, but again, you don't know a lot about the individual himself. So those are the only two people that you are aware of in town that have any dealings, knowledge, or history whatsoever of magic. So,
Earlier, it's time for lunch. But we should get a message. So, what kind of bookstore first?
Yeah, what's that mean?
Bookstore means pleasant interactions from strangers,
Yeah.
especially if there's a gnome in there.
yes. What was her name? I have it written down in the old campaign, but I can't remember her name. She was in Verbabonk.
What's the smut you're gonna pick up this time?
Mhm.
No, Hyacinth isn't into smut. I could also pretend that her name, what was it? Planar Travels or something. Hyacinth.
Boy, all right, moving on.
Her name was like silly or something. It was like something silly. She had the silliest name.
Right. Yeah.
We should move on. We should move on. Inside jokes aside.
Yes. Yeah. This was they found some pretty good books in Eberron, and then they found some that one chick that you guys dealt with that she was just a snooty old ass elf. I can't remember her name. No. Okay. Excuse me. So um, walk.
Did she mock me for picking out a particular book?
Wait. Say that again.
Didn't she mock one of my characters for picking out a particular book?
I mock all your characters, dude.
You mock more of my characters, I know, but this is a
No.
particular mock
Yeah.
at the book choice.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Normally I want to run till about 10:30 or so. So what we're going to do right now is let's take a quick 10 so I can go do my little boy thing. And we'll come back at about, say, 5 minutes till the hour. And then we'll play for another little over half hour after that, if that's okay, 10:30 Eastern time, our time. So that's like I said, 3 hours I like to play. Unless you guys want to go four, I can go to 11:30, but it's totally up to you guys. But my intent is that we'll go to about 10:30, maybe 11, depending upon what we got going on. So I want Halvard. I want Halvard to have a little time to play. So, but I don't want to keep you guys really super late. So typically,
And that's my fault for being late.
no, dude. You know what, man? You know what?
Uh,
I told you, dude. It is not a big deal. We can run without you. Typically what we do is we just let you be fodder, right? So you're gonna be on the front line anyway. So yeah. So like I said, typically three between 3 to 4 hours is what I'd like to play. We can kind of play it by ear based on what you guys got going on, but I do want everybody to have yeah. So I do want everybody to have a fair amount of gameplay, and I know, however, you were late. So maybe we can go a little longer tonight. But like I said, now's a good break time right before you guys go to the library. Gives me time to do my thing and you guys time to do your thing, and we'll be back in 10 minutes. All right. All right. For those of you guys that
Her name was Toonie, by the way.
Toonie, yes, thank you, thank you. Yes.
When I was playing.
See, this is why I gave it to you guys. This is why I gave you guys notebooks and stuff like that. I don't.
Campaign?
Yeah, I gave you one for Ebron. I gave you one for Ebron. Yeah, I did. I gave you an Ebron campaign. I gave everybody a book. Yeah, we used to face together. Jacob, who plays Naola, And then of course Kaylee playing Hyacinth. We always did face-to-face game, and I always for Christmas or at the start of the campaign I gave all my players their gifts like dice or a minifigure or in their case a blank a leather-bound book so they could keep notes and stuff like that. So yeah, it was pretty cool. All right, so I'll see you guys in about 10 minutes, right? For those of you that are still following us in chat, we definitely appreciate it. Those of you that just arrived, we'll be right back in about 10 minutes. So some of us can only sit. Hey, dude, we have 10 people watching our stream. I might be one of them. Yep. I know the 10th person shows up. Whoever you are, you send us on break. So yeah, so those of you guys still in the chat, I definitely appreciate it. Maybe someday I'll be like big and sprawling like Lord Gazumba's channel, and I'll be able to give away free gifts and stuff like that. But until that happens, you're just going to be stuck listening to us talk for another hour or so. So, all right, guys, I'll be back in about 10.
Oh, fun time. He's all still in chat. I all alone. I should go.
So apparently somebody sent me a message a little while ago. I didn't notice it, but they're saying I'm the only one that people can hear, or that they could hear anyway. Can somebody confirm that? Can somebody go on?
Mentioned that when we were trying it out, but I think did hear that part of it.
Because I've got the Twitch add-on connected to this voice channel, so I was under the impression that
Um,
let me
let me
s-
see if go
right.
via settings
hmm
and
It's under
connections.
yeah.
Sorry, I'm at connections.
Oops. Yeah, when I go to connections, it actually just says streamer mode enabled. So I would have to disable streamer mode, then I can go in and let me do this. So I'm gonna do that.
Streamer mode connects.
No, streamer mode's supposed to be the one that connects them. So authorize app. Uh, so maybe that's why. So authorize apps doesn't have Twitch anywhere in there, but I thought it did. See, because when I go to connections, automatically detect accounts from other platforms in this computer. Boom. So Perrenland Adventures Twitch is connected. So why would it not?
Not sure.
Yeah.
Definitely don't hear me when I'm talking right now.
Okay. Well, yeah. Yeah, I think when well, I was under the no, you're right. I think it's supposed to be even we're still streaming even when can you hear me talking coming over Twitch? When
I
I
can hear you talking.
okay. All right. So there's so there is
One, two.
uh
Yeah, I don't know nothing about when it comes to Twitch.tv.
uh all right. So let's see if this is why. Okay. No, 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 no.
Did I lose everybody?
No, you're here.
I hear you.
Okay. Everybody got quiet all of a sudden.
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure this out. I don't know what the heck I did wrong, and I'm just trying
Hey,
to.
in Astral, how do you enlarge the map without enlarging everything?
As far as what?
When I enlarge the map, then my uh, my chat box and my icons disappear because basically everything is being enlarged.
Huh.
I was trying to figure out a way to
All I do
enlarge
is,
the map.
yeah, all I do is I just hit the scroll bar. I mean, the scroll on my mouse. I scroll up or down, and it zooms in and out.
Yeah, all the chat, the online options, the toolbars, the bomb, none of that changes for me. I just scroll up and down.
Yeah, I mean, the map actually goes underneath the banners on the left and right for me when I'm doing it.
Okay, it's probably I'm using a laptop. What do you call it?
Mouse pad.
Yeah, mouse pad. So it's probably the drivers in that's making it
Could be.
making it weird.
Yeah.
But
I can just do the two finger scrolling right on yep on my mouse pad.
okay, it's no big deal. It's just thought maybe I probably could go get a mouse.
Okay. Okay. All right. So I think I'm seeing where the problem is. I don't know why. Let's do this. Save channels. Um, so authorized apps. How do I add an authorized app? Because I thought I authorized. It says here, connected your Twitch account to Discord. So that should be done. It's just weird that it's... Yeah, I have a connection on here, but there's no way to do like authorized apps. For authorized apps, it's only got Patreon, Avray, and D&D Beyond. And I don't know what I'm doing wrong. And I don't want to waste a lot of time trying to do this, but just
I like the white streaks.
what's that? I am.
Oh, red.
Give me 2 seconds here.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just experimenting to figure out how to do stuff.
I thought a really big snow flake came in or something.
Hmm.
So I guess you guys can all see that. Do that.
All right, so I am going to go. Oops. All right, now I'm going to go to the server settings, integrations. See, it doesn't have Twitch on here, and it's ticking me off. Roles.
So, Will, what you think of that little dock there?
Sorry, I got a mouthful of brownie.
Huh.
Nom 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 nom. What
Pretty
type of
much.
brownie?
All right, I'm going to have to figure.
Fudgy brownie.
About to say Little Debbie would be king.
It's like Duncan Hines.
That's good too.
I'm looking at this here, and I go to Twitch integration for streamers. Let's dive in. Sync your Discord account with your partner Twitch. Easy stuff. User connection Twitch. Boom. Been there, done that. Set up a server and sync it with your Twitch account by going to server settings, Twitch integration. It doesn't have a Twitch integration. Needs server administrative permissions. Add this. Duh. I am the owner of this server. At least I thought I was. Here. Privacy settings. Okay. Server settings. Okay. Got that. Roles. Just going to create that. Okay. I can view the channels. I am just going through here to... Okay. So I have all these different roles, but it doesn't let me Sorry, I'm taking so long here, folks. I will get this, and then I think I'm just gonna dump this for right now and figure it out. Okay, let's get back to the game. What do you say? I'm not gonna waste any more. I'm not gonna waste any more time on this thing to figure out why. So, yep, that's fine. I'm gonna go ahead and even though nobody can hear anybody but me, I am gonna go ahead and stream it anyway, just because that's how I roll. We're gonna clear our chat so we can start the new and
You could always narrate it.
yeah, nah, I'm not gonna go that far. Unfortunately, it is what it is. I just don't understand why I'm doing everything that it says I'm supposed to do. I've got permissions for everything, but for some reason, it's not letting me um, add the integration to Twitch, even though Twitch is one of my authorized apps. So I had to figure out what I'm doing wrong. This is why you don't put IT guys in charge of IT stuff. So, all right.
It makes me wonder what those 9 viewers are actually doing.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, they're probably watching the screen. They're checking out the snowfall.
And then
Um,
Or actually, it says snow now.
well, you know what?
Yeah.
Well, the only oh, is that right? That's funny. The only thing I have to say is these are the guys that said that they wanted to help us get our Greyhawk content streaming. They know this is my first time, break my cherry the right way. So we're good. I think we'll be all right. At least I can get the streaming. I know how to switch back and forth, and I can start building better stream screens for the like Be Right Back and some of the other stuff. I've got at least that part down. Now I just got to figure out how to get you guys so they can hear you. It's just like I said, it's baffling to me. So, a large, huge ass raindrop. That must be the hail. Or whoever was doing that would get the hail in. So, okay. So, obviously, when last we left, you guys had just come back from checking out Sertaim's home, electing to not leave his armor where it was free for anybody to come in and take, since you did bust off the lock to his personal chest to get into where the armor and swords were. You guys now have that with you at the Richter's home. Um, it is getting late in the day, as I said before. It's probably pushing 5:30 maybe at the latest. But the sun is starting to make its final trek over the western mountains. And you guys, I believe, decided that you were going to take a stop by Henriette's home um, in order to um, look for some book or some guide or some information that she may have contained um, in her library, where you guys can at least maybe get some information on whatever you were looking for. So that being said, let's take it away. Where to?
As you said, definitely go to Henriette's library, look for whatever. And hmm. All right, who has the prettiest face? Who's going in first?
Okay. You guys, go ahead.
maybe
I have a 14 charisma.
I think that's more your voice than your face.
All right. Yep. Oh, okay. And he's back. All right. So, yep. So you guys get to Henriette's house, and like I said, it's starting to get a little dark out. Snowfall has been consistently light all day long as the temperature starts to drop um, with the fading sunlight in the horizon. You get to Henriette's, and you can see that there are lights on the inside. However, her door is closed, and as you go to step in to open it, the door itself is locked.
she must be closed. Let's see. Or maybe she's still inside. Let's
Either
just
way.
see her go out.
What's that, Hyacinth? You did. As you guys were leaving the um, the huntsman's home, where the young half elf trapper was, as you were heading back into town to find Oswald, you saw Henriette chasing Xylath. Xylath is the locksmith. Xylath is a rather ancient lady pushing in the 80s. Henriette pushing in her 60s, and they were arguing about something about what you could not tell, but they were going into the gorgeous dwarf.
Cool, cool, cool.
Might still be there.
I mean, we could always just sort of
Yeah.
block this. Maybe put the armor down. Can't remember the.
Well, I mean, you guys, you can, as you,
Hide our wounds.
right, exactly.
Were we going to Henrietta's to try to send a message, or were we looking for
Y-
information?
I think
Send a message.
both. Yeah, see if she had the capability.
Home base.
Okay. So, I'm assuming we're going to the dwarf, or are you going somewhere else?
Dwarf. Yeah.
Okay. So, a few minutes later, you guys find yourself stepping into the gorgeous dwarf. Inside, you can see that there are numerous people gathered, several of them dwarves and miners and whatnot. They're gathered into several different large groups, and they're all chatting away and seem to be having a good time. A lot of the conversation that you hear when you first come in deals around the upcoming festival and how things are progressing over at the Chapel to Vergadane. Uh, Sitting by themselves over in a table, which, by the way, why don't we do this? Just because that's how I roll.
Uh-oh, you're going in and out.
Am I?
For me at least.
All right. I will talk very slow. I will talk very, very slowly. So, you guys, you guys find your. Oops, sorry about that. Move yourself wherever you want. Heck with it. I was going to move you, but you're moving your own. You guys are back at the gorgeous dwarf. Inside, it is relatively crowded in the sense that the miners have come in from the mines, most of them. Although they're Albert's behind the bar. Got it. He is such a jerk. That's it. I'm going to make it where I'm the only one who can touch maps. What you think about them apples? Yeah, that's what Hyacinth is doing. Hyacinth, or not Hyacinth, but Nalo's doing cartwheels in there. Okay, stop distracting me. I have ADD. See, stop it. All right, I'm just going to close my eyes and talk. The hell with you guys. All right. I really wish the stream could hear you guys talk because they're missing half the fun. They just listen to an old fat dude talk on the internet. That's kind of funny. So, you guys, as I said, you come into the gorgeous dwarf. There is entertainment playing in the form of a human man sort of singing and playing music in the background. There's a large mix of people in here, human and dwarf mostly. Um, they're all gathered in various groups and stuff and chit-chatting and sort of enjoying the end of the day meal and drink and companionship as they sort of shrug off the cold from outside, enjoying the warm fires burning in the fireplace within the gorgeous dwarf. Sog is running back and forth at the back side of the bar, filling tankards as the servants run them out to the respective tables, and you guys find yourselves a seat to join in with the rest of the festivities. As I said before, a lot of the conversation is discussing the upcoming festival to Vergadane, one of his high holy days when the full moon of Luna on the 11th day of Fireseek, and all of the preparations have been getting made um, for that to happen, because not only do just worshippers of Vergadane, who are primarily dwarf, they aren't the only ones that enjoy the festival. Everybody in town does because In this small community, companionship and leaning on one another means a lot. And so you see a lot of that when it comes to all of these festivals and get-togethers. But sitting by themselves over in the corner right here, you guys notice that Henriette and Xyleth actually, are sitting there sort of hulking or skulking or sulking, if you will. They don't appear to be arguing anymore. They just appear to be enjoying their dinner and drink in silence, although the look on their faces is sort of dark and brooding. You aren't sitting for more than a couple minutes when a servant walks up, a young girl that you've come to know as Catherine. As she steps up, she's perhaps in her early 20s, as she sort of does a slight curtsy bow and says, "May I get you gentlemen and ladies something to drink, eat, perhaps? The stew tonight is particularly scrumptious. Thick, fat meat, sure to ward off the cold of the evening."
I would love a stew and an ale.
"An ale and a stew it is for you, sir." "Do we have hard liquor?" "Of course we have hard liquor. We have whiskey, the finest that Traft can provide." "Whiskey it is for you, sir. Anything else for the rest?" Okay. So meals and drinks are considered to be 2 silver pieces. The hard liquor will cost an additional silver. So if you want to eat, 2 silver pieces, regardless whether or not you drink. But if you're going to get whiskey, then Corvus, you're going to have to take an additional silver piece off for yours, please. Um,
I'll tip her a silver too.
Fine by me. Just make sure our sheets are updated. Okay. And so she darts off to fill your orders as you see her disappear into the swinging doors of the kitchen area. You can hear the clanging of pots and stuff coming from back there as the cooks and servers run in and out to bring drinks and whatnot. Um, while you're waiting for your drinks, Sog kind of leaves the bar as she sees you guys come in, and she sort of strides over to you. Again, Sog is a half orc, rather imposing figure. Has scars about her, so she looks like she's been through some tough times, whether it's actual adventuring, combat, war, whatever the case may be. But regardless, she is an imposing. Although she is but half orc, so her tusks aren't quite as pronounced as others of her kind, and her skin is quite not quite as a dark green as some other orcs that you have seen in the past. Um, but she sort of gives a half grunt nod. "So did you find anything?" "Anything worthwhile? Did you find Erin? How did she take the news about her father?" "Didn't find her? What do you mean you didn't find her?"
So Silas gonna lean over and put a hand on Hyacinth's shoulder and kind of call Sog over a little quieter than he was earlier this morning.
Well, so you're saying we just shouldn't tell anybody anything about what's going on, so they'll just be surprised? Yeah, what could go wrong? Roll a persuasion check for me.
Okay.
Oh, as she sort of looks at you, she gives you sort of a hard look. Her eyes are dark and they're very narrow across the top of her nose. As she sort of looks down, her brow furrows and her tusks kind of poke out as her jaw is kind of looking right down. And she's like, "Fine, fine. I'll, I'll, I'll keep, I'll, I'll keep your girly secrets. Fine." So Victor by himself?
Well, I mean,
He's a good kid.
yeah,
He knows his shit.
yeah. So I was hoping he'd find some information, maybe see better tracking methods. But if he's lost, I don't know how we're gonna find him.
Yeah, this weather's not doing us any favors either.
No, so he might have more of the survival needs, the nose to the grindstone. So we thought maybe he could do it. Um, yeah, we paid him to do it. So I
What
guess
a,
we'll approach that with some better details next
what
time.
about that? What about that fat twat walking around with you?
He's he's fine.
So
He's yeah.
I could
He's more concerned with how we can get him
imagine.
to than what happens to him.
I hate I hate his kind. Worst of all.
I really don't like him
At all.
at all. Just like
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
how well respected was the man at the Richter household?
Sir Tames,
Mhm.
are you kidding me?
Look, we're new here. We didn't know the
Oh,
guy.
yeah.
I mean, we figured you'd know.
Imagine imagine a king giving up everything he knew so he could go live in a little town. He becomes the king of that town. He was he was everything a lawman should be. He was fair, he was kind. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's gonna be missed.
Look over the halberd and comment. We can't see Logan as being around, and from my side, I believe he would be one to sell it because we can put it. Otherwise, con- our client is going to sell it on us.
Yeah.
Where are you suggesting is a safe place?
Here in
Here
our
in the rooms, but not up in our rooms. Perhaps Sock might know a place where we can safely store it.
Hmm.
She sort of looks kind of back and forth, kind of eyeing you guys, kind of wondering whether or not you're worth trusting at all.
We plan to take it back to the Italians for
So to
well, we
make
don't
our
have to
honor,
sell it.
we didn't want the tax collectors getting it and making their money off of a dead man's honor.
Okay. I maybe have a place for you, yeah? On the house since it's for Mr. Thames, for sure.
Did you say the armor had some damage on it?
It was used, right? I mean, it's not like it was beat up so bad that you couldn't use it. It had little dings here and there, so you could tell that it had been actually in combat. But it was well kept, right? So particularly the joints and the leather that kind of keeps it all held together, and the cloth was either new or sewn up very nicely. So it was definitely well kept. Even if it looked like maybe even if he didn't wear it, at least he took it out periodically to clean it and polish it up, etc.
Well, do we have the fingerprint remover for the armor?
Yes, you do.
Um, I'll go ahead and cast mending on it
Okay.
to basically try to make it look brand new.
Okay, perfect. Yep. So as you do that, you hear the little and poof, all the little dents and all the little scrapes and cracks, suddenly fade away, and now you have this nice, at least as much as you could. It's like is it a 5 foot cubic feet or something like that, or 2 cubic feet, whatever the cubic footage is. But I think it would be enough to
Well, I could cast it multiple times, I guess, is what
yeah,
I'm
no,
saying too.
yeah, we don't have to play through all that, but yeah, it takes a minute or two, but you manage to get most of the dings and scratches and stuff out of it to where it it looks even better than it did, right? So,
Spick and span.
yep, spick and span it is. Okay, so um,
Fast in the bar?
Oh no, Farth is not. Farth, you guys gave him, you sent him off um, to the house, to the Gilly house, so you assume that's where he's at.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So Halvard, I'm going to
Maybe we can check with Henrietta since she's here.
moves you.
How far?
So you go downstairs, and now you're down here, Halvard, um,
Mm-hmm.
in the basement. I know nobody else can see the basement, but if you're watching the stream, you can see the basement. You see that there's a wall over here. Um, Sog turns you and says, "Don't look." As you turn away, you hear a click, click, and something grind, and suddenly the wall opens, and you find yourself in this little sort of little meeting room. And you can see there's a workbench over here, and some tables and stuff over here, and a large comfy chair table in the middle. And right over here, she has a big chest that she opens and allows you to put the armor and the blades into, um, puts a padlock on it and gives you the key. Okay.
I lost the audio right after you said it gives you.
Gives you a key.
Okay.
Gives you a key to the pad and gives you a big wet sloppy kiss. I mean a key, not a kiss, a key. She gives you she gives you a key to the lock or to the chest padlock.
He's like, what the hell is he talking about? Big wet sloppy kiss.
Exactly.
In a half orc's dungeon. No.
And then she takes you back up. That's custom where we come from when we give each other a key. It's sealed with a kiss. Yeah. So you find yourself once again back upstairs with your comrades, minus a suit of armor and swords, and plus one key to a padlock to the same.
Awesome.
I would profusely thank her and tell her to do the same for us.
Yeah. Well, you just find out who did this.
Your best.
We will try.
Thank you. And she goes back to sort of meandering around and mingling with the other crowd. Obviously, for a half orc, she's fairly social. I guess you have to be a bartender, barkeep, owner of an inn slash bar brewery. But it is what it is. And she kind of leaves you guys to your own devices. It is now dark, as the sun fades from view and the lamplight sort of takes over the view in the tap room, and the fireplace is roaring, keeping the heat going, within this place. So some people are still kind of keeping it filled, even though it's early in the evening. Even for a small town, this place is the center of community apparently. As crowds come and crowds go, people eat, people drink, then they go about their nightly business. Um, Probably about an hour or so into you guys eating and drinking, unless you otherwise say so, you see Henriette and Xylith begin to get up to leave. Um, and they do pass kind of by your guys' table, um, on their way
As
out.
they pass by, I'm going to kind of hold my hand up a bit and say, Henrietta,
Henriette, may I help you?
that's Sug.
May I help you?
Yes, we're looking. We have a messaging service. If you happen to know how to use one, we stopped by the store earlier.
Oh, my dear girl, I have not dabbled in such things in so many years. I don't know if I could even do so with any certainty.
Do you know anyone who could?
Oh, in this town? No, dear, I'm so sorry. Maybe if you go to Traft, I'm sure you could find any Cyro spellcaster you desire.
It would justify.
you are most welcome to come by the store anytime, though. We're always open as she begins to lead Xylith away.
No, she's not. I want to figure it out. Now, right before you said that, I did say we stopped by to see you, but you weren't there.
Obviously, as she takes Xylith by the arm, um, what is everybody's passive perception?
10.
Okay. Ooh, what's that? Oh, sorry.
Passive perception of 10.
Okay. So as you're walking by, you can see that uh, Hyacinth, your eyes kind of catch that Xylith's eyes are sort of red and puffy um, as she's being led away. Um, you're the only one that notices it, though. Everybody else, not so much. So,
Yeah, I got stupid.
oh, Amik, I take it back. Amik, you notice as well. If yours is a 15, passive perception 13 and above would have noticed that her eyes are sort of red and puffy. Looks like she had been crying for at least for a little bit. How long you don't know, but she was visibly upset earlier. Probably a little more calm now. It just sort of settled from whatever it was into sort of tears. So okay, okay. So so you depart. So you depart. All right. All right. All right. So you do depart. Right. Okay. Right outside the door, you manage to catch up to them, and as you sort of stop them, they startle. What? What? I. Uh, what? No, no, dear, no, dear, no. There's a lot of stress going on around people. As the old lady just turns. Have you not seen? People are dying in this town. What if I'm next? I could be next. How do I defend myself? I'm just an old woman. How do I defend myself against somebody that killed the likes of George Gilly, that could kill the likes of anyone in this town? What if I am next? So you're all going to sleep over at my house forever until this is done? I thought that's what I thought you would say. As she sort of turns to walk away, Henriette sort of looks at her as she's leaving and gives you a look, and just kind of looks down and gives a little kind of shake of her head, like, "What are you gonna do?" You know. And she turns to hurry off after Xylith. Okay. So.
You know what happened?
Okay. So the rest of the evening passes relatively uneventfully. Is there anything special you guys want to do, or you just want to sort of prepare for tomorrow?
Alright, second lunch is done. Time to have dinner.
Half orcs can eat. Dwarf, you have
She's
competition.
gonna grab like some. She's gonna grab some bread and take up with her while she's preparing.
The dwarf has some competition. Right now, they really don't. It's mostly sort of a free for all, from what you can tell, because the only real law enforcement was their tames. Apparently, there's some process in place, though, that they've got where they're going to select or hire whoever the new law enforcement is going to be. But as of this minute, as far as you can tell, there is a nobody.
Alvard would to the table say, should we take turns on a watch?
What what happened to the ex-mayor's body?
Oh, as far as you know, it's. I'm sorry. As far as you know, they brought it to the old Kirk Temple for preparation for burial. You don't know 100%, but that's the understanding that you would have had.
Do we know if Nick died? We weren't here as soon as Town did that, and thankfully we were hired to investigate. Do we know how he died?
Uh, no,
That's a
I
little
don't believe that anyone has asked.
we don't really know for sure, but we also don't was he like getting everyone else rehired?
Yeah, it's a
That's
question.
the question now.
Yeah. See, this is what happens when the investigation gets good. You guys start thinking of things, and I don't have to lead you by the nose.
I'm gonna write down your advice. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to look more into it. Who would she know? Would I have to go to the temple and talk to whoever had James's body about that?
Okay. Yep, that would make sense.
Night that's probably not. I don't know. We were hoping to speak less of it, so we don't have to deal with it more than we have to.
No, it's not like the big city either where you're going to go.
Yeah.
Although, I mean, small town community priests typically would not be a big deal. But usually, didn't they sleep at everybody else's house? They never had their own. They went from house to house and got their meals and places to sleep and stuff. So
It would probably not necessarily be
they're
courteous.
probably not courteous. Yeah.
I will hold my questions until next episode. Though, if we want to take watch, like, do we want to like do a round of watch? Like, I would be cool with that, I suppose.
Okay.
If
Yes,
anything else
we
wants to do
could
it.
do a watch.
You could what?
Yes, we could do a watch. I would agree to that.
Okay. So where are you going to watch?
Do we want to do like a patrol of town? Do we want to just like sit up in a window and there's have views of the town streets?
This is true.
Anybody got ideas?
I would probably just walk the streets because there's basically just that one main street that I think you could probably walk up and down and see the side streets.
Yeah, it
That's
isn't a
okay
particularly
by me
large
as well.
Yeah, it's not really that big of a um, bunch of roads, right? There's a few main roads that lead through the town.
What about Peartown?
I mean, I'd be cool with her. Two, two.
I'd say a pair would be minimum.
Yeah.
So
So you have an odd man out then. So you've got two, two, and then
We do.
how about
just leave the sorcerer by himself. He's the toughest one, right?
For sure.
So maybe that's why he's not.
It's called Fear Walk. Yes.
Maybe that's why he's not doing patrols because he's not much for swearing.
Yeah, so
That makes sense to me.
you guys just tell me how you want to do it and what we're gonna do.
Hmm.
So, for the dwarf was a cleric, right?
What's that?
yes.
Okay, so the dwarf was a cleric. Um,
In all
I
honesty,
would.
Albert would probably ask Emek if he would watch with him because I'm curious to speak with you about your religious beliefs since I'm a follower of Pelor.
That's an idea.
Okay. All right. So I basically put you guys outside because I want you to tell me sort of how you plan to patrol, what route you might want to take, et cetera, et cetera.
I think we'd want to do an outward perimeter,
Right?
street wise at least.
Okay.
Now somewhere down to there, I do want to stop by the chapel
Okay.
and have a look at
The the Vergadane Chapel or the Old Kirk Chapel? So
the
Vergad
Vergadane.
sorry.
Go ahead.
Vergadane is the dwarf god um, of money and wealth, etc. He is the one that they're having the festival put together to, so they're sort of putting the chapel together to hold a big festival inside. And then the Old Kirk Chapel is just that, the Old Kirk faith. If you didn't get a chance to read any of the notes that I gave, the Old Kirk faith is sort of a conglomeration of several Flanish gods up underneath one umbrella. And so they call the Old Kirk stands for Old Church, right? So that is, they're more human centric.
That's where the
That's where the bodies would have gone.
yeah. So that's where I'm wanting to stop by to have a look at the body again.
Okay. Okay. All right. So who's taking the first watch and what times and how often? Or I mean, sort of click through if somebody could double click double click through and show me the routes that you may want to take because like I said I just want to see what your plan of attack is here.
For me, I was just going to go from there to there, just back and forth,
Gotcha. Perfect.
the main road.
Yep, perfect. Except for going down to the old church, right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect, man. Gotcha. All right, so who's up first?
We'll take first,
Who's we?
as long as Amek is good with being on patrol with me.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. All right, so Amek and Halvard, you guys sort of take up your posts, walking slowly through the town while the rest of you go to do what? Get some rest? Just kind of hang out in the bar? What? Okay. All right, perfect. Gotcha. Gotcha, gotcha. So the night begins to get a little bit more chill as the temperature drops into the teens and then continues to drop as the snow, fortunately, um, lets up and um, the sky itself, although partly cloudy, at least gives a little bit of a reprieve from the dull overcast gray that you've seen for the past day. As the stars come out, you guys can see that um, Selene is still but a sliver, and Luna is fast approaching a full moon, which in 2 days should be the full moon, which is hence the festival to be going off to Vergadane. You make your way down through the streets. You make your way down through the streets, and through the windows, you can see the various families engaged in their evening routine as they light up their fireplaces, light up candles and lights for inside, and even a few of them hang lanterns on the outside as a sort of a neighborly thing to do to provide at least a little bit of light on the main streets as you guys make your tour. Um, as you make your first round, you pass by the Crestridge Market and Crestridge Grains, working your way down toward Old Kirk Chapel. From in the chapel, you can see it is still brightly lit from within. Light spills out through its mosaicked windows, indicating that there is activity going on inside, whether it's a church or at least a priest of some sort happens to be within the town. I mean, within the chapel. Sorry.
Okay, I'm gonna have a look at the body, I guess, if they have it.
Okay, so you arrive at the chapel, but the doors are closed. Although there is plenty of light, and you can see shadowy movements coming from within, indicating people are awake. Although the chapel itself doors are closed.
The door's locked.
It's not locked. Doesn't have a padlock that you can see, but they are closed.
I guess I'll knock.
Okay. A heavy thud, thud, thud echoes and reverberates from within the halls on the other side of the door, and you hear a voice shout from the other side, acknowledging your presence. I will be there. One moment, please. And a couple of minutes later, you hear sort of a grunting sound as somebody puts weight against the door and sort of pushes on it, and it slowly creaks open. And behind it, you see a thin individual, a man, probably in his mid to late 50s, thinning hair, gray, relatively short, but not like super close cropped. Um, he's wearing white robes with some sort of a bluish silver lining on it. He has a tied sash about him, and you can see that he wears plain sandaled feet. His face is clean shaven, and his eyes are sort of a dark brown color from what you can tell in the dark light that's coming from behind him. There's light coming from behind him, but outside, but outside it's dark, so it's kind of hard to tell. But it looks like he has sort of brownish colored eyes. Um, as he sort of squints to look to see who you are, I do not know your faces, and you are whom? And why are you coming to my chapel this late at night? Are you wishing to perhaps a service or a prayer for you before some journey, maybe?
I am Amic, servant of Themacule. I
Yes.
come to view the body.
Oh, you are viewing the body. Yes, the poor man. Nobody deserves to die as an attack from the back. I can tell you that much. In my wildest times ever as a youth, I had never known someone to be so savagely ripped from behind. This despicable, this monster of a person who does this. As he sort of turns and shuffles away, leading you into the chapel. Um, going past the main pew area and where the services themselves are actually held, he leads you into a place where the body is actually stored. It's just a plain stone room with no other exits apparent except for the one coming in. Complete stone block, no windows, no doors, no nothing. Just sort of a slab table with the body completely covered in a white sheet laying upon it. Um, is there something specific maybe to you to wish to see of this or find on him? Um, we are having the burial services um, the day after the celebration in the festival.
I wish only to say a prayer briefly.
Oh, prayers are welcome wherever you are. You please pray away.
Okay, and I'll say a prayer for
Okay.
a short moment,
Okay.
and then I'll stand back up, and I'll say, I am just a humble servant of Themacule. The Themacule has said that this body should be burned, not buried.
What? What? Who is this saying there must be have anybody talking to the family? Perhaps maybe the family should have some say so? You're not burning anybody. We will wait until we see what the family says. I don't know who this Tamakul, your deity, thinks he is, but he is not the god of me.
You do not have to listen to me. It is for your own benefit that this body be burned.
We
He
will.
tells me.
I
How
am.
will you wish?
I am thanking you for your warning. If perhaps we need assistance in this matter, we will come to get you sooner or later. Probably later, because we are not going to burn the body unless the daughter says, or the madre says, or the father says, or the son says. Somebody from the family must say to burn the body, else tradition says we shall burn him. I mean, bury him. Is this is this all you wish to do? Is to pray and tell me that we must burn somebody?
I did not say that he must be burned.
Oh,
Mule said for
he,
your own good to burn the body.
well, we shall take your words under advisement, I assure you. Anything else? May I helping you
Fire is the cure.
with? Well then, thank you for stopping by. Thank you for stopping by. Take your giggle master with you. I know. We're good. As he escorts you from the old Kirk Chapel, unless there's something else that you need to do.
My only question is I wasn't sure if I was with him or not.
Oh no, you were. No, you were with him because you guys were on patrol together.
Okay.
Yeah, you're just kind of looking at him like, what do I say? What do I do? What do I say? What do I do?
Was there any? I know it's the old. Was it the old Kirk Church?
Yes, sir. Old Kirk Chapel. Yeah,
Okay. Was there? I know Valor is one of the
he is.
most worshipped.
He is
Was
absolutely.
there any of his iconography in there?
Absolutely, absolutely. All the Flemish deities there. It's sort of like if you look in a Catholic church where they got the Stations of the Cross. Think of it that way, where in the various stations you have iconography dedicated to each of the various Flemish deities, except for Nerol. Nerol does not have any iconography here, even though he is technically part of the old Kirk. Um, but he's like the god of death, so they don't like to put him out there for people to see.
Right. Well, I'd say a quick prayer in front of Valor
Okay, okay, absolutely.
before I move on.
Okay, perfect. Absolutely, I like it. So you guys find yourself leaving the church, and the old pastor or the old priest is sort of muttering to himself, learning what the hell are these guys doing here. Um, and he closes the door. I don't know what these crazy kids come from these days. As he closes the doors, as he closes the doors behind you guys, and you find yourselves back on tour. Um, so continuing to make your rounds about town, one of you guys give me or actually, each one of you give me an individual perception check, please. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is going to be either you guys are never going to find anything, and if you roll like that in combat, this game is going to be done before it gets started.
Hey, combat, you weren't here for it the first time, but Nylo is the one with the highest investigation roll with a +2.
Yeah, you're not smart enough. You're not even smart enough.
SMRT.
So, so basically, both of us rolled a one.
Pretty much.
That's that's why
Pretty much.
I got a well, yeah, because I got a +5 to perception.
Yep, exactly. Yes. So,
At least you know the difference.
Okay, okay.
all right, hold up.
Give my input here.
Let the DM judge. Let the DM
Okay,
judge.
give my input. Sounds like Halvard and Amak maybe like arguing a little bit or talking too much about religion and faith.
So, as you guys are walking, you can't get it out of your head how crazy that old priest was and how he could not find or understand what or why you would want to burn bodies. And you guys discussed that ad nauseum as you make your rounds about town until eventually it's time to turn over the watch to the next pair of individuals, and you guys go find yourselves to get some much needed rest. Who, who is next on the watch? Who's next on the watch?
Mistakes with your watch.
Okay. Nilo, you and Hyacinth begin to make the same rounds as the other two. Now it is much later at night, probably closer to, 11 o'clock, midnight maybe, as you guys, took the late watch, and it's a long watch until morning. You begin to make your rounds. As you guys go, you can see that there are a couple of Oh my God. I didn't want to say that I put in special scripts just for this game, but this is pretty awesome.
Is it broken?
Yeah. Yep. So you guys begin to move. All right, calm down. We're all calm now. All the ones are done for the rest of the campaign. We're good. I can't believe 3 in a row. That's hilarious. So you guys make your way about town as you notice that most of the lights from the inside of the homes have begun to dim away. There is still some light, obviously, coming from the tavern as they do stay up past midnight and stuff for latecomers and stuff. There are a few straggler miners who may come in late, coming out of the hills back into town, toting bags of stuff that they may have mined out on their own. But for the most part, the town is quiet, eerily so, as there's a light frost on the ground as the temperature is so cold. You got the snow, and you got the top layer of snow sort of gets cold enough where it just sort of freezes, and as you walk through it, you find yourselves crunching through little shards of ice as they sort of give away in little poof about your ankles like little cloud storms as you guys are sort of going through. Your breath is coming in puffs of white mist as you sort of settle into the evening's festivity. And suddenly in the distance, Hyacinth, you hear a and at first, Nilo doesn't hear it as you sort of off on your own little kind of chit-chatting about life in general and the war and stuff. And Hyacinth has to grab you by the shoulder for you to listen. She grabs you by the shoulder to listen, and you don't know where it's coming from. It's just coming from outside of town, somewhere in the distance. You hear a wolf howl, and then it goes quiet, eerily so. It's almost as if the wolf's howl made everything just stop, including your breath, as you sort of find yourselves holding your breath, wondering what was that. You hear it again. And after the second one, you wait a couple minutes, but you don't hear it again. And that is the only thing that you guys hear for the remainder of the night. As you guys make your way back, you get back to the inn. It's probably 5 o'clock, going on 5:30. The barest traces of orangish purple begin to peak on the backside of the Klatspur Mountains, which are the mountains to the east, separating you from the Elven Forest to the east. It just begins to crack. You can see the clouds coming in as another day of perhaps snow or some other precipitation as it begins to move into town. Who did we lose? Hang on a second. Did we lose somebody? We did. We lost Jacob. Let's wait for him to come back. Here he comes.
Your audio is super choppy for me.
Is mine is? Really? See, that's what I know. Jacob's in the wrong one. Jacob, you're in the wrong chat. Jacob's in the gaming one. You need to be in the parent or campaign chat. We'll wait for. Yeah. Well, I don't. I just think I get these sort of hiccups in my internet, and I don't know why. I've got gigabit internet speed, so I don't know why I'm having issues with it, but it just could.
You're the only one I have trouble hearing from time to time. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and it could also, it, well, yeah, yeah, yeah. I think also it could be that, since I'm streaming, so that's taking up some resources on my computer, but I don't know. So we'll just wait. I'm gonna wait a second for Jacob to get in so I can kind of give the spiel. I don't want him to. Uh, oh, he doesn't even see it. What the heck? That's pretty bizarre. Let uh where is? Yeah, that's pretty bizarre. Wonder why that was. That is absolutely bizarre. Try it again, Jacob. Yeah. No, I'm looking and it said that when I did a permissions, it had everybody hidden. It said you could not see it. So I'll bet if you disconnected and tried to get back in, it wouldn't let you see it. Okay. So again, let me try. Yeah, we're good. Welcome back. All right. Well, I'm going to make sure that I am really going to make. I'm going to do a bunch of studying to figure out about um, optimizing my stream speed and stuff like that and things that I can do. Um, so like I said, you hear the wolf howl twice, and then everything goes silent. You finally make your way back to the inn. It's roughly 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. The sun is beginning to break across the mountains to the east, shedding the rays of light streaming down into the valley of Perrenland. Um, it promises to be another cold day as your breath still comes in spurts of white mist. As you get to the as you just about to walk back into the tavern, suddenly you hear bells ringing and somebody screaming coming from down the street, um, and come running up the street right here. You guys see Henriette. She's running towards you guys, waving her arms and ringing a bell. Help! 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 Come help! As you guys, she's dead! She's dead! She's dead! She's dead! As she leads you guys back to the locksmith's house. Huh?
I want to ask why Hyacinth has a health bar above her head, but no one else does.
That's just the way the character sheet was set up. I don't know. We're gonna remove it.
Also, because she has a perfectly square forehead.
Yeah. So, so leading you guys to the house, you guys find yourself outside this small little locksmith shop. Um, letting you inside, however, you guys get inside. Not everybody can get out. Can you guys see inside at least? Or do I even have the? I don't even think I have the thing on. Do I? Dynamic lighting's not on, right? Good.
No.
Okay. Okay. Good.
But I do see the symbols around the door
Yeah.
indicating
Yeah.
that it's locked.
Yeah. So that's it's not locks. That was actually where I had placed doors when I do turn on dynamic lighting, but I turned it off so it'd make it easier for now. So anyway, so you guys find yourself inside once again, just like every place or the other places you've been. You can see the first front of the house is basically a workshop of some kind, and the rest of the house is a living space. You can see that in the space in here, lying face down on the floor, is Xylith. She appears to be deceased, and that's where we'll pick up our next game. It is the 10th day of Fireseek at 5:30 in the morning.
Time to leave for work.
Yeah,
It'll keep me from boomer style. It'll keep me from unit style.
that's hilarious.
It did make me question what a follower of Pelor would think of burial. There's kind of a flame hint to that as well.
That was fun.
Yeah, it was a good time. Yeah. I don't know if
Yeah.
it's her club time, so I'm
And
almost done
she's
that.
signed one of our camps, so she's working
Okay.
on it.
Almost. Almost done. Yeah, we get to sit on the plane with you. It's more fun. We get to experience it.
Next time I review it, she'll have to watch an hour, almost 2 hours of just going off.
Yeah, I feel bad. I didn't realize until halfway through. I was like, what the hell? I feel really bad now. All right, I am going to get.
Talk to you guys again soon.
Yep, so my intent is to. Now, that said, if anybody would like to get together sometime next week with me so I can test out the stream to see if things are working, if anybody would be up for that, just tell me when you're available and what times and stuff. It's not to game. Yeah, it's not to game or anything like that. It's just to I'll start streaming and then we'll test to see how the sound is coming from other people because I don't know why it's not letting me connect my Twitch when it says that it is. So,
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
I
available
had
whenever.
Looks like I.
I had one of my players check it out.
yeah,
He's a big internet guy. Well, he used to be an IT guy. Um, he got on there just because he loves D&D and Twitch and all that stuff. And he
right.
said he loved your interface,
Yeah,
but all he could hear was just you, and it was really quiet.
yeah. Well, it's like I said, I got a on my mic. So I have there's a slider bar on the mic for the Twitch stream tool, and I pulled it down. So I think I'm gonna have to put it all the way up. You know what I mean? So all the way to like put it on 11, so that it'll come across okay. And I'm gonna look at another mic to get maybe something a little more high tech, another a more high tech camera. If I continue to do this, if people like it, um, we'll see. So, but we were up to like I think we had 11 or 12 at the most at one time, and then and then now we've obviously dropped off. So, so we'll see.
All right. Well,
Yep,
good
we'll
game,
see.
Sean.
But yeah.
Fun.
Yeah, man, it was good.
Yep.
And I wanna reiterate to people, yeah, I reiterate to people, I apologize if you're looking for a lot of combat, but it's gonna start slow and hopefully build. So,
I am perfectly happy with it.
well, there's a lot of people I know that are they are very combat centric, right? So trust me when I say I do combat, and I do tend to do some decent amount of combat, but there are going to be times where it's we're just going to go and bum around town and see what's going on there. A lot of RP opportunity. That's what to me what a campaign is because my goal is to number one obviously have a good time and provide you guys something that you like, but at the same time, I'm hoping to kind of teach people about the world of Greyhawk and stuff, right? So we'll take the opportunity to talk about legends and lore and stuff like that's what I was saying when we were talking about had you ever heard of the Lady of Swords or the Lady Swords or whatever, you had never heard of that. That's just a way that we can start digging into the lore and finding out, hey, let's go to Traft and look up and see if we can find anything about these guys and let's go dig into the libraries and see. That's what I'm kind of hoping we can do as part of our adventuring team. So,
I love some good lore.
yeah.
I dig it.
Yeah.
Dig that.
Yep.